everyone, my name is Edith Barboza and I am one of your fellow classmates that is in your Bio 105, and I will be presenting the insect blue copper butterfly for my presentation. And let's talk about how the blue copper butterfly develops. It goes from caterpillar to butterfly. Um, Although not each caterpillar turns into a butterfly, most of them turn into moths, which is really interesting and I had no clue about. Out of the 400 legs that they lay, about only 8 of them become butterflies, which is something very, very insane. So that means that there isn't many butterflies out there, although you see many, many out there. During the summer. And the butterfly does go through a process called the metamorphosis, and that is just any type of butterfly process that they go through. And the cycle of a butterfly is that the caterpillar eventually stops eating, and as soon as it stops eating, it gets on a twig and it starts spinning around, and then the caterpillar transforms into a butterfly or a moth, just depending what uh, turns out to be. Alrighty, let's go to the next slide, which is how the blue copper butterflies live. They live in high elevations of 1,208 to 1,657 meters high, but lower elevations of the butterfly are about 917 to 1,452 meters high. And many of the species are in low elevations, and they usually stay in the Central California area. And but most of the blue copper butterflies are spotted in the western coast of the U.S. and the southwest region of Canada, which is something really interesting I had no clue about. They also have a very short lifespan. That is very interesting. It's only about like 2 to 4 weeks lifespan, and also they um, eat, at least older adults do eat nectar from flowers such as buckwheat and tulips, and the smaller ones do eat red berry leaves, which is something very interesting, as in this picture you can see that blue copper is eating that nectar off of that flower there, which is something pretty cool. Alrighty, how the blue copper butterfly grows. It's kind of similar to the same process as how it develops, but they do grow as to eating uh, their daily intake of food and nectar and the buckwheat. Um, that's how they grow. And they're something very, very interesting that I found was their wingspan gets up to 22 to 33 millimeters. That's insane. I never really pay attention to their wings, but that's how big they get. And a smaller blue copper butterfly gets up to 16 millimeters of their wing length. You are able to see these blue copper butterflies during the month of April to August, and they should be spotting now since it is April. Alrighty, how the blue copper behaves. I am not too sure how blue coppers behave because it's something very, very, I guess, difficult to find. But I know that they are very friendly and joyful and something very, very beautiful to see outside in your backyard. Doesn't matter what type of butterfly it is, it's always really beautiful to see them during the summer. And they are a reminder of the beauty of creations. Um, there isn't really anything much on females, just, they lay eggs and they don't really have much babies. Out of, the 400 eggs they lay, there's only about 8 of them that become butterflies. But on the other hand, males do tend to defend their own territories than females do. And also, another thing is that males do get aggressive in pursuing their females. Um, but although they are aggressive, they are always, always very friendly and such a beautiful creature. Alrighty, the ecosystem of the blue copper. The blue copper tends to have the nectar of the flowers of the food, and um, it has the nectar of the flowers, also the tulips and the lavenders, and they have they act as a pollinator and is a food source for other species as well. As you can see in this chart, they act as food sources to frogs and dragonflies. Something I did not really know. And the frogs and the birds and the dragonflies are able to consume a food source as a butterfly because just based on their elevations. Alrighty, the blue copper butterfly. Is it in danger? Well, since it's been listed in the 2000s, it has been in danger. Um, and this is because it includes threats due to its habitat being in wildfires, such as the mountains, the bushes, and many droughts occurring in the mountains and the bushes. It just messes up all their ecosystem and their living, and it just isn't the same for them um, anymore. Alrighty, threatened by the environment. The blue copper butterflies are facing threats in their own habitats just because, due to the last slide, I did say they are having many droughts and many wildfires into where you find these type of um, butterflies. So it's very, very difficult for them to live and to keep going. So this is one of the reasons why they are in danger and are somewhat extinct just based on their environment they were living in, and now it's just a whole mess. Alrighty, the male blue copper, the role for that one, it has a very, very huge role. So the role of a male is very, very self-explanatory. So when the male is trying to find a female, it flies over to it and gets closer, and as it's getting closer to the female, it sees if it decides if it's its mate or not. And if it's not, then it will fly away onto a higher plant, and it then proceeds to look for a female that is its mate, and they tend to go to places where, of course, there's many females there, so they can choose a variety of them. um, but they also are very protective, and they defend themselves a lot as males, not as females, because females do not really defend themselves, but they somewhat do. Are butterflies domesticated? Well, based on my butterfly, the blue copper, they are not too sure if they're domesticated, but I do know that the monarchs are pets that are domesticated, but they are also very traffic pets to have. They do make amazing pets for children and adults, and those for that do want to maintain a butterfly as their hobby. But they also do need their space to fly and their food as well. So it can be hard at times to um, have a butterfly as a pet, but it all depends on you. It is a bit hard and very difficult, but on the other hand, I believe you can only have a certain uh, butterflies as pets, and this monarch is one of the common ones that most people get as starters to have a butterfly as a pet. And so that is the end of my slide. Thank you so much for listening and watching this video. And I really hope you guys loved it. And if you guys have any questions or feedback, feel free to give me that feedback. It was a pleasure, and thank you so much.